Here's part 2 of the Kubota overview. So last video we talked about the front end and the mower deck and these pedals on the ground, and we left off at the operator station. I just want to talk about what's here at the operator station. Red handle is the throttle. Okay, this is engine speed. Rabbit is faster engine speed. Okay, turtle is slower engine speed, and all the way back is idle. To the left, we have an hour meter, and this counts how many hours the engine runs. So right now we're at 369. It's kind of blurry to see there. The hour meter is excellent for maintenance. This is going to determine when my next maintenance will be, because when let's just say I change the oil. When I change the oil, I'm going to write down how many hours are on the machine when I change the oil. So if my oil change interval is 100 hours and I change the oil at 200 hours, I know when I get to 300 hours, I'll need to change the oil again. So the hour meter is indisposable. My walk-behinds do not have one, and I really, really wish they did. To the left of the hour meter, we have a knob right here, and the knob has numbers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a bunch of circles. That knob is cutting height. Okay? How high is our deck going to be set at is what we do with this lever here. So we have 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches. All right? And then there's circles between each number. So let's look between 2 and 3 here. These are broken up in the 1/4 inch intervals. So I have 2. This little circle here is 2 1/4. The medium circle is 2 1/2. The big circle is 2 3/4, and then 3. Okay? So when you're changing deck height, you got to pay attention. If I say set the deck to 3 1/4, okay, 3 1/4 is 3 with this little circle between 4. It is not the big circle between 3 and 2. That's 2 3/4. Okay? That's a 1/2 inch difference in mowing height, which is a big deal. So you need to pay attention. All right, the little circle is 1/4, medium circle is 1/2, large quarter is 3/4. So you got to pay attention to that. Gauges, temperature gauge, important to monitor. Just last week, the operator of this mower overheated the machine. They were not watching the temperature gauge. All right? The reason this thing overheated is because it was so dusty, it was caked in dust. The radiator was plugged up with dust. You weren't getting any cooling. Okay? If he was paying attention to this needle right here, he could have seen that, and he could have acted upon it before the mower shut itself off. All right? The mower has a safety mechanism built into it. Once it gets to a certain temperature, it will shut itself off to really protect itself from overheating. Okay, so you gotta glance at this definitely during the summertime. You always need to pay attention to your gauges. Okay, temperature gauge. To the right of the temperature gauge, we have a fuel gauge. Now this fuel gauge monitors the fuel level in the left-hand tank. Okay, in the left-hand tank only. This yellow light right here says right-hand tank. This light tells you when the fuel in the right-hand tank is low. So the gauge is for the left-hand tank. This yellow light just blinks. Well, it'll actually stay solid when the tank gets low enough. But because once the tank gets below a certain level, let's just say below half a tank, as you're mowing, that fuel is sloshing around. So this light, blinks like crazy as you're mowing just because the fuel is moving around. So, pay attention to your fuel gauges. With this machine, it's not a big deal. If you run out of fuel, you just switch tanks. Provided you have fuel in the other tank, you just switch tanks and start it back up. But older diesels, if you run them out of fuel, it's a real pain in the butt to get them going again. So the yellow light is the right-hand fuel low. And then we have this orange light right here. This is for the glow plugs. Since this is a diesel engine, it requires glow plugs to help warm itself up before you start it. So you need to pay attention to that light only when you're starting, really. All right, so you can see right now that light is on because I have the key pointing towards the glow plug. And then we have battery right here. So this monitors the life in the battery. So let's just say the battery's just old and it's not holding a charge. This light will come on once the battery life is, at a certain point too low. And then we have engine oil level. Okay, so if the engine oil becomes low, this light's going to come on and the engine will probably shut off. We have our key. We have 4 positions on our key. We have stop all the way to the left. 1 click to the right is on. So once you start the engine, this is where the key will be. It's on. 3rd over, we have glow plugs. So right before you go to start this mower up, you want to hold the key towards the glow plugs, and I'll go over that on a separate video. And then all the way to the right here, this is start. Yellow handle is PTO clutch. So this turns your blades on and off. All right. So when this yellow handle is forward and locked in, the blades are on. When it's back, the blades are off. So that's your operator station overview. This machine has a seat belt. Okay. You want to make sure you wear your seatbelt. Let me hop off of this real quick. All right, I'm behind the machine on the left side. I got the hood open and the seat is up. This dark gray color is the ROPS rollover protective structure. And what that does is it's a safety feature. If this mower ever were to roll over onto its side, this corner of the ROPS will hit the ground and ideally hit the ground first, and the operator will not get crushed. The ROPS only works if the operator has his seatbelt on. Okay, so when your ROPS is in the up position, your seatbelt should be on. Let's just look over here to the Turf Tiger. All right, I folded the ROPS down so that way I can get under trees and crap. So if I were to roll over with this machine right now, the ROPS is not going to do anything. This mower is just going to fall right over on its side and probably right, over onto the operator. So you do not want to wear your seatbelt when the ROPS is down. All right, and the theory behind that is hopefully I can jump off the machine and be out of the way while it's rolling over, versus if I had my seatbelt on and the ROPS was not going to hit the ground, I'm just going to get crushed. All right, this thing's going to roll right on top of me and I can't get out of the way because I have my seatbelt on. So when your ROPS is in the up position, you should have your seatbelt on. That way, if you ever did roll over, the seatbelt's going to lock and hold you in place, and the ROPS is going to keep the machine from rolling on top of you. ROPS up, seatbelt on, always. That's just how it is, whether you're on a zero turn, a mini excavator, or a tractor. It's all the same. The ROPS has the same job to protect you. You need to put on your seatbelt so it can do its job. Again, here's our fuel tanks, left-hand tank, right-hand tank. This is diesel fuel, okay? This uses diesel fuel. So it comes out of the yellow gas can. All right, do not put gas in this machine. You'll really, really screw it up. So I have the hood back right here. Here's our air filter. We'll need to do some maintenance on there. This is the muffler, all right? It says hot. It does get very, very hot. We have our starter. Down there is our oil filter. We'll learn about this stuff during equipment maintenance. Here's our radiator. So this machine is liquid cooled. So there is liquid circulating through that radiator and circulating through the engine. It's just like your car, okay? The Turf Tiger is air cooled, so there is no radiator on the Turf Tiger. So two big differences there. Now, what happened when this machine overheated last week is this screen is designed to keep grass out of the radiator, which it is doing. However, if you look down there, there is grass that gets behind it. Okay? So as an operator, you need to make sure this screen is cleared, preferably before you start mowing, so that way it can do its job and catch more and still cool. These tubes right here are for hydraulic fluid for cooling. If we look under the seat here, this is the business end of it, or another business end of it. This is our transmission and drive system down here. So all of our hydraulic fluid is circulating inside this housing. It's a pretty big housing. It holds 3 gallons of transmission fluid. Since this is hydrostatic drive, the engine is turning a pump which is circulating oil through this system here, okay? And then you have one control for the right rear tire, one control for the left rear tire. So again, you can operate the tires independently, which is what gives you maneuverability with this machine and gives you your steering. So this is where all of that happens, inside this transmission here. So this is the Kubota. You guys will get the chance to operate both the Kubota and the Turf Tiger. They do have some slight differences. While you're operating, you'll feel some of those differences, and more than likely you'll like one machine more than the other. So again, this is the Kubota overview, part 2. This is the end of it. So now you guys got to take the quiz.